Georgia Appleseed and our other community partners have identified a common business model among some institutional investors in low-income housing, and it goes something like this. The investor comes into the community, purchases the property. They quickly drive up rents. They impose novel and unwarranted fees. They refuse to provide upkeep and basic maintenance. They abuse our eviction systems, and they hide from accountability. These institutional investors concentrate these practices in Black and brown communities and low-income communities, and so they're perpetuating historic injustices there. What we're seeing is that there is a lot of money available for these investments, but what we don't see when these investments are made are the construction of new properties or buying a property and investing in the property and upgrading the property, the kinds of things that you think about when you think about community investment. Instead, this is the purchase of a property, the extraction of as much money from it as possible, and then often, in the end, a derelict building when nothing else can be done. And it's often virtually impossible to hold these landlords accountable. Out-of-state shell companies hide the owners, and tenant advocates and governments simply can't identify them. In Georgia, institutional investors are particularly known for instituting aggressive year-on-year rent increases and novel fees. One-time activity fees, pest control fees, utility service fees, a renter's insurance fee, valet trash fees, package locker fees, common area electric fees, early termination fees that can be 3 times a month's rent. Institutional landlords are well positioned to abuse Georgia's eviction and housing safety laws and ordinances. Eviction costs are very low, court procedures favor landlord attorneys, and maximize the efficient disposition of evictions, not the preservation of tenancies and healthy homes. The eviction system in Georgia is set up to support the needs of landlords. When you look at why landlords use evictions, it's not necessarily to remove a tenant. They also use them to threaten, intimidate, and coerce tenants into paying often unlawful fees, as well as paying up rent when tenants complain about miserable living conditions. And I should point out that tenants have zero leverage in Georgia. Regardless of the conditions of the home, the tenant is still obligated to pay. And so if they don't pay, they can be evicted. And so landlords know this, and they use it to their advantage. Involuntary moves caused by eviction have measurable, well-studied, and negative impacts on children. There's learning loss every time there's a move. There are behavior challenges that appear after several moves. These impacts also affect their classmates. There's something called school mobility, which has been measured a great deal. And the more school mobility that a school experiences, in other words, the more children move in and out of the classroom during the year, the worse the effect on their classmates, as well as on teacher morale and teacher retention. So the communities end up paying the cost.